You've done a pretty admirable job keeping the details of the HK crimes a secret. Greetings and salutations everyone, I'm Ekamac, this is Let's Play of the Devil. In the last episode, we still haven't met our client because we're finding out about the case from these two detectives. The more we talk to them, the more an uphill battle it becomes. But I'm curious about terms. Heartbreak Killer. We encountered an issue while processing your request. Hey there, it looks like you're trying to search for a term related to an ongoing investigation. Until authorities have made their findings public, results may be heavily curated or temporarily unavailable. Read more about how we cooperate with the authorities to combat disinformation here. Well, that's far less useful than I thought it would be. When we're done with this chapter and the whole case is solved, I want to come back and look at Heartbreak Killer again just to see if it still blocks me. The less reputable sites are doing some real journalistic acrobatics to piece together a story. Yeah, top 11 theories on who hurt HK was a real weighty read. It's not just journalists though, all kinds have been emboldened. The freaks that HK's managed to bring out of the woodwork in just a few weeks. Can you blame them though? I mean, he's a genuine serial killer. Repeat offenders in general are endangered species, but he's gotten away with... We know what he's gotten away with! Take a look around us, detective. National DNA registries, robust enough that cases never go cold. Cameras on every street, a phone on every citizen. Violent crimes at an all-time low, clearance rates at all-time highs. But, you're gonna spout some old pole bullshit about invasion of privacy? No, I'm not. People are safer now than any other time in history, detectives. So when someone like Heartbreak does come along, he's a novelty. And there's no better cure for boredom. Good point, huh? London's trying to look like he can laugh it off. But pressure from the higher-ups must be reaching its peak. They want, maybe need, to see someone charged, and that makes them predictable. That's right, we're getting these weird flashes of her thought. I don't even know what that's going to be about, but it's very interesting. Don't tell me Morgan is the Heartbreak Killer. That'd be a twist. Yeah, well, even if there's nothing standard about HK, Department SOP still dictates we starve the media for case details. That way, when we do feed them, they're grateful for whatever scraps they get. But we can't take all the credit this time around. Homicide's tight-knit and tight-lipped, but it's not like there's much information for us to leak in the first place. And why is that? Because none of the shootings were caught on the opt-in crime surveillance system. I guess they just wanted to use the anagram optics. The opt-in crime surveillance system, abbreviated as optics, is a partnership program between the state and private enterprises that allows for free sharing of surveillance and security data to better promote and preserve public safety. The innocent have nothing to fear. Actually, that was incorrect. The innocent have a lot to fear. But most of all, the innocent have a lot to fear from people who say the innocent have nothing to fear. There's a Terry Pratchett line for you. Accessible through state employee logins or private partner accounts, Optics Smart UE allows users to search through and collate footage from a city of tens of millions in just a few simple keystrokes. Optics is frequently cited in state reports as one of the most effective tools for reducing crime, and footage from optics often serves as key evidence in criminal proceedings, where it is considered admissible by default. See People vs. Erewhon, Users also frequently searched for public safety measures in my area and daily security level. How's that even possible? Right, because after eating all that tarming, you might forget that he managed to kill them without being caught by Optics. I know there are some rough areas in the lower wards, but Optics is watching every other street in the entire city. Then he just walks one street further before he shoots them. You're saying you haven't seen this killer on camera once? You think we'd have let him kill 6 people if we did? I understand your concern, ma'am, but Optics is only what it says in the name. Private surveillance systems signing up to feed into the state security network. It's not perfect. Just another one of the many public safety tools in our belt. So if the Heartbreak Killer is someone else, then I could assume that he's someone who has access to government details, specifically that on where does Optics reach, so I know where to wait for before I kill my victim. It's not meant to be perfect, it's meant to help us solve crimes, or at least act as a deterrent. One would hope so. Fat chance. Deterrents are for war rooms and board meetings. Anyone crazy or desperate enough to commit a crime in a city like this couldn't care anything less about anything as vague as the consequences of their actions. It's like a safety blanket, one with very few holes in it. But it does have holes. Patching up those remaining holes takes effort. That effort usually means rebooting the system. There's all kinds of technical details and digital bureaucracy involved. But the end result... I keep shifting where I want to take this voice. But the end result is that there are occasional localized blackouts. And the math used to schedule them is not impossible to predict. I see. And you think this guy is someone who could figure it out? Someone with an industrial grade or body mod? But those windows of opportunity are small and short. Taking advantage of them requires specific knowledge. You'd need to be involved in law enforcement, pub data, or city planning. They'd have mentioned it by now if my client was a cop, and he wouldn't have needed a public defender either. Industrial mod, he might be in city planning. His file says he's modded for heavy mass manipulation, not tech interfacing, so that just leaves city planning. So does he work construction for the city? HK's only ever struck at times and locations where Optics would be down. Even with the devil's own luck, can't possibly be a coincidence. Wait, so you're saying when this woman was killed... Yeah, there was a blackout from around 8 to 9 tonight. Right on schedule, so to speak. And it included the area surrounding the victim's apartment. Well, what about DNA from the other crime scenes? Was my client a match? There's been no blood, no saliva, no suspect DNA at any of the crime scenes. So why would the suspect be at this crime scene? No footage, no forensics. Also no motives, tampering, or witnesses. It's been like hunting a damn ghost. We didn't even have a murder weapon. Until now. Finally a lucky break for the boys in blue. Scanners, cams, drones, forensics, no matter how you dress it up with tech, all detective work relies on one basic assumption. People make mistakes. But HK is the kind of monster who doesn't make mistakes. The only reason we even caught him tonight was because he finished what he had set out to do all along. Okay, so I guess that's your explanation there. Oh, does the top right actually tell us what soundtrack is playing? That's kinda cool. So was my client on the list of suspects before tonight? Weren't you listening? There was no list of suspects! We questioned some X's, a few CIs, someone even spoke to one or two unlisted at some point. Nothing came of it. There was talk about starting on some kind of psyche vow or something, but I never expected much to come of that. There's just not enough there to work with. In other words, the only thing they have, the only thing they could have, to link my client to those killings is the murder weapon. Which means that if we can somehow prove that he's an idiot who chose to touch the weapon after it got used to kill his girlfriend, that would be the thing. If we could prove that, then we cut a lot of that away. But the thing is, as she said it earlier, they really want to wrap up this case. If I can jostle that keystone, the rest of their case should start come loose as well. Thanks for the chat, detectives. I think I understand the background well enough now. Candidly, I see the same strokes you do, and the picture it paints isn't pleasant. But even so, it seems a bit unrefined to be brought before a judge, don't you think? Hey, it's our job to catch the bastard. The DA is the one who gets the conviction. Besides, we're not exactly going to have to work hard to convince anyone of his guilt. And why is that? Because we found a handwritten confession at his desk. Oh boy. That's an Edgeworth type of move, and we haven't even gotten to court. Actually, Chapter 0 might be getting all the information for the case, and Chapter 1 is when we're actually in court. Well, that's unexpected. I'm sorry, you're now telling me he wrote a confession? Has been verified? Not yet. We have to muzzle past everyone in fraud and disinfo to get to the front of that line. Why bother? The note's covered in his fingerprints. There's a copy in the discovery data, but I should warn you, it doesn't exactly make for light reading. It's okay, I have 18 minutes to go. I'll have to manage somehow. I need to see this confession for myself. Sorry for everything, can't say it enough, didn't mean to hurt you or do what I did. Did not want any of it to happen. Can't stay in control when I get mad. When I'm not in control, I hurt people without meaning to. Wish I hadn't broken them. Didn't mean it at first, but I was hurting. Wanted you to hurt too, but didn't want to hurt you. We're inside enough, I know that now. I'll take responsibility and do what I've been avoiding. Please forgive me. I already see the trick to this. I wish I hadn't broken them. He's apologizing for breaking some of her things. I'll take responsibility and do what I've been avoiding. He's probably going to go and get something. This might be him going to get his arm fixed because he broke some stuff by accident, but... Well, actually, no. Wasn't. He's talking about some sort of glitch in his arm. But also, he probably lost his temper and broke her things. That was difficult to read. Can I hit the quick save button? I hope that did something. Barely legible, in fact. Well, got a spin on that? No need. But it's a confession! Not a confession that he signed, though, is it? Not yet. And not one he intends to sign anytime soon, considering that he asked for representation. Yeah, the most wanted man in the city asked for a lawyer and got you. Guess you're both lucky. Hardly. I just happened to be awake when the call went out. But I'm not so flush with work that I can afford to turn tail now. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go in and speak with my client. It's only episode 4. What? He's not still handcuffed in there, is he? Look, Counselor, with all due respect, we have strong evidence pointing to that man being responsible for 6 murders. 2 hours or so in cuffs isn't cruel or unusual. Well, and that's for your safety as well. Hang on. It's kind of you to worry, but I doubt it'll be any danger. So it was still London saying it every time. He's killed 6 women. None of them were redheads. Seriously though, I'd like to speak with him alone now. Camera's off if you don't mind. Mic's on or off is your call, counsellor. But we'll be watching the feed from right outside in case anything happens. Then the cuffs, the cuff, that is, stays on. That worried about me? How chivalrous. Yeah, my arm is practically blinding. Gross. I'll start up the unlock cycle. Counsellor, just one word of advice. If you have any interest in his well-being, I suggest you help him sign the confession. Not a bad idea, I do get paid either way. But the defense part of defense attorney isn't just for show, detective. I mean it. 6 people dead is one thing, but he's also caused 6 weeks of widespread terror and public unrest. Putting it another way, he's made the state look bad. That's a capital crime if there ever was one. And even if death penalty's not actually on the table these days, I can guarantee he's not gonna like whatever rehabilitation plan they draw up for him. Look, I've seen the virtual work release program in person, and it's... Due to the ongoing controversy following the suspected suicide of inmate Jay Gallet, search results for this term are temporarily blocked. Read more about how we cooperate with the... Honestly, as annoyed as I am that they keep having terms pop up that are outright blocked, it also really adds to the... it adds world building. But a different sort of world building, because it's telling you, hey, this is information that people aren't supposed to have. Honestly, I would have told them the spin is, there's nothing saying it's about the women. That's a generous interpretation. Being challenged before the Supreme Court. Yeah, sometime in the next decade, maybe. Just remember, a plea deal might feel like a loss for you, but if it keeps him from... well... that's probably a win for your client, right? Prison sentences are generally lighter for those who plead guilty, that much is true. It saves the court a great deal of time and money. They show their gratitude with reduced sentencing. But no one will be grateful toward the heartbreak killer. Anyone convicted for killing 6 people, they'll never rest their mind another day in their life. It's depressing as hell in here. They need to liven this place up. Oh boy, there's one way to make an entrance, and yes, they do pop up in the top right corner with what I assume is the soundtrack. So if you have the actual soundtrack for the game, then you can go and enjoy your favourite pieces, provided you're quick to spot the music being played. Carlos Flat, right? Hope you don't mind if I get comfortable. We've got a lot to cover, but this shouldn't take all night. Well, that's a relief, because you told Fran that it's already nearly morning. Really, it's just early morning rather than at night. What are you... Look, I already told you people I didn't... I'm not a cop, Carlos. Furthest thing from it. I'm a lawyer. You're a lawyer, in fact. And I'm here to help you. Yeah, well, they said that too. All of them did. Back there, in here, kept repeating the whole ride over. They said they were going to help me, that they knew this was all a mistake. Then they said that I killed... Acting like they were on my side. They thought I could have... It's not their job to help you, Carlos. But it is mine, and I'm here now. He's still in shock. I need more information, but if I approach this the wrong way, he'll just clam up even more. I'm sure you're exhausted. It's probably difficult to think, let alone speak. But I'd like you to try and answer a few questions. The police already questioned you, I'm sure, but they're here to prove you guilty. We aren't. But they were treating you as a suspect, not as a client. Okay. So what do you want to know? So we aren't getting anything... We don't get them shaking, so these are questions. We can go through all the questions. We're probably not going to be able to get through everything because we had so much text going into this, but we can try. Let's start simple. Something mundane. Grounded. Rote. I'd like to know a bit more about you first, Carlos. Something like, what line of work are you in? I'm with city engineering. Or I was, or I should be. As I thought, the police must be convinced he mapped the optics blackouts using data he stole from work. Well, I got it slotted for the job. And, Carlos, I'm gonna need more than that. So what do I know? He works in city engineering, not his desk job. Ray said he was wanted for work, and that arm must be in custody at the moment, but based on his shoulder, it'd have to be pretty... quick save. Utilitarian? Yeah. He doesn't strike me as the type who enamored with the aesthetics of modding. The young and the restless and the rich, swapping in neon and chrome limbs because they like the way it looks, or the way it makes other people start looking at them. No, he's pragmatic, grounded, and very unlucky. In which case, I should be too. You know, my brother wanted to mod. Really? Really? I don't even have a brother. He had everything planned out, a whole career path of promotions and bonuses and upgrades they'd afford him. Then came his 18th birthday present. Test results politely informing him that he's not a viable candidate. That sucks. I think he felt relieved, actually. Seemed like it was a weight off his chest. Like he was glad he didn't have to choose. Does that make any sense? Yeah, I think it does. I always figured if I'd started all, I'd start small, a hand or an eye. Test the water. Never thought about lobbing my whole damn arm off, but the recruiter was enthusiastic. He said, because of the NCDA there was a financial aid and resources. Of course that got shit canned, so now me and every other modder is royally screwed. Couldn't even let me keep the tax credit. The New Citizens with Disabilities Act was amended, not repealed. But I appreciated he'd appreciate the distinction at the moment. Amended. So basically, they waited just long enough for people to become dependent on it, then they adjusted the wording. I worked at tighter spaces, the high-volt environments, mostly canopy upkeep. Typical stuff for modders, you know. He's speaking freely now. Don't need to do much more than repeat his words back to him to keep him talking. But the right word choice, here or there, can still make a difference. You work on the canopy, you must be... Under a lot of pressure, huh? Well, okay, I do have the ability to quick save with a tap of F4, so if I don't like the results, I can always backtrack, and this does seem like the sort of thing I want to backtrack for. Because I don't know what I'm spending these credits on. We must be under a lot of pressure now that the subways are cordoned off. Damn straight. This crap with Long? Once word got out that the case against him was real, every desktop in the chain became terrified of their own shadow. All of them convinced that Internal Affairs was going to come knocking if they misplaced so much as a paperclip. Everything by the book means no room for compromise, no room for problem solving, no room for engineering. Yeah, and now no patience for screw-ups. He's trying very hard not to look at his shoulder. Why aren't you wearing your prosthetic right now, Carlos? Yeah, that. Rejection issues, studying last month. A lot of sleepless nights. Rejection, did the therapy not take? The process of adjusting the human mind and body for the unique challenges and stresses that come with cybernetic body modifications typically includes physical therapy, mental technique instruction, and sensitivity training. Depending on an individual's viability, or lack thereof, medications and even minor viral tuning may be employed to modify the body's immune response. But improvements made in recent years in medically sterile alloys have greatly reduced the percentage of patients that require such treatment. It's not like that. I wasn't oozing pus out of my sockets or anything. Then do these rejection issues have anything to do with your scars? Not in the way you're thinking. I'm right-handed. That's very inconvenient. So those cuts on his face are just from shaving. Never thought this would go so long I'd have to relearn how to do everything. I mean, the problem started small, trembling, but then spasms. Just oversensitivity, they said. An easy fix. But the problem got bigger. Couldn't let it get that far. Need to be able to trust your own hands when you're on the job site. Drop a cut at the wrong moment and people could get hurt. So I sat down, made an appointment to turn in my arm, and watch my case get placed at the back of the damn line. Where did you turn it in? Some mass turnaround drop shop with a waiting list like you wouldn't. Doesn't sound like you're a happy customer. Hell no! I found a dozen other clinics with shorter wait times. But as long as I'm renting and not owning, the manufacturer decides where your arm gets maintenance. Okay, interesting. We are updating our old stuff. Submitted 5 weeks ago at How Partnered Prosthetic Adjustment Clinic. Average wait list duration of 40 business days due to user-reported sensitivity issues. He is right-handed. We have a case here. They're really saying that a right-handed man never needed... Okay, so he'd be able to reload the gun, but they're saying that a right-handed man using his left hand was able to make all those perfect kill shots. We have something to work with. Let's see if we can get back to, before we wrap up the episode, let's get back to the dialogue branches. And that's why I'm sitting here with this expensive-ass stump for a shoulder. I haven't been able to work in weeks. Bosses were generous enough to say my position might still be there when I've got 2 working arms again. You couldn't buy or rent a replacement yourself just in the meantime? I serve at the pleasure of the state. And they've got exclusivity contracts with Hindi. All locked up white knuckle tight. Hindi. How Industries? Hindi. How? So showing results for How Industries. How Indie. Okay, I get that. How Industries is the world leader in research, development, manufacturing, and committing of cybernetic prosthetics for commercial and private use. And we're seeking motivated, passionate archivists, programmers, salespeople, and college graduates with degrees in digital archaeology, cybernetic anatomy, and more. Not interested in sponsored results? So see further with a premium account. That didn't help! As I recall, he's registered with one of their Habilis models. If I took one step on site with uninsured tech, forget the fines, I'd lose the down payment and my arm, then I'd never work in this city again. If this was last quarter, maybe I could have worked something out with management, but like I said, no one's sticking their neck out for anyone now that longs in depot shit. You mentioned discomfort. Date of birth, July 8th. Oh, favorite flower, poppy. He likes airport, spawn shoes, firm beds. Occupation, civil engineer for the canopy. Dislikes cabs, musicals, cashews. Favorite flower, poppy. Student debt sizable, luck poor. Sure, rub it in further, why don't we? Are you in pain? Pain will come and go. It's the itches that'll kill ya. And the phantoms come back pretty fast when they don't have anything. Phantom pain. Pain or discomfort that the brain experiences as coming from an amputated part of the body. When stimuli stops coming from a part of the body that is no longer there, the areas of the nervous system that were previously devoted to processing those sensations reconfigure themselves to still be of use. Occasionally, the brain makes mistakes. This new sensory processing is still being associated with pain or sensation from the amputated limb. Because of the larger mental element at play, therapy for phantom pain reduction necessarily involves psychological conditioning and often the use of prosthetics. Phantom pain has become more widely experienced and understood as a result of the spread-out body modification movement. Debate over whether the modest scene has increased or decreased public empathy for amputees and disabled remains contentious. Did you mean phantom visions? Phantom visions are caused by faulty insulation on cybernetic eye mods, resulting in periodic electrical discharge across the retina. Schedule a consultation immediately if you suspect this applies to you. Users also frequently search for "My mod hurts," "Modder itching," "Is my arm haunted?" I hope not. So far we haven't had any my fae type spirit channeling nonsense. Arm shaped attached to me. Didn't they give you something to, well, wear in the meantime? Sometimes the clinic lends out for cases like this. What they gave me is a deadweight, 3-jointed landfill bait piece of shit. Sorry, it's a very shitty feeling having part of your body that you know they cut corners on. It fits, is compatible, technically. I can slot it in and feel on balance again. But the fingers don't even bend. The quick twitch motors are way off. It's like walking around with your arm asleep, or dead. So were you wearing it when? Let's tell you what, I'm going to say this. Let's wrap up the episode here. I'll save and we'll figure out what the safer option here is. Anyhow, until next time guys, take care, I'll see you all around. It's interesting, isn't it? He talks about how much his arm was useless. And yet the cops talked about how it was a really good arm that would be able to kill you quite easily. There's definitely some different takes on this case, but what do you expect?